Hello everyone and welcome to my presentation on intonation in English. My name is Arosha Wickramasinghe, fourth year student of Trincomalee campus, Eastern University. Before I begin, I would like to take a moment to acknowledge and thank Dr. Niruba Jayasundara, our senior lecturer, for giving me this opportunity to present today. So let's look at the presentation, intonation in English. Okay, according to my content, I'm going to speak about what is intonation, intonation patterns, main functions of intonation, and the 3 T's of intonation in English, and conclusion. Okay, let's move to our main topic. What is intonation? Before turning to the definitions, let's get brief idea of intonation with this two statement. First one is, he is going tomorrow, he is going tomorrow. Can you see the differences between these two sentences? Actually, when we look at these two sentences, it's hard to find out the differences between them. So let me pronounce these two sentences like this. First, he is going tomorrow. He's going tomorrow. So, you heard that melodies of the two sentences are different. The melody of sentence A drops at the end, making it as a statement. He's going tomorrow. And the second one, sentence B, the melody of sentence B rises at the end, making it as a question. He's going tomorrow? Like that. That's why we can say the melodies of the two sentences are different in here. So let's see in the next slide what is the definitions of intonation. In the first, you can see all spoken language have intonation and it's common to all languages. Intonation is a term used to refer to the distinctive use of different patterns of pitch that carry meaningful information. And intonation is the way the voice rises or falls when communicating. In short, it is the music of speech. We can say it is a melody, it is a music of speech. And it focuses more on how you saw it rather than what is being said. Because this is important in English communication because sentences may vary in meaning depending on the intonation. That's why we can say it's depending on the situation. Okay, in the next slide. Intonation may sound differently depending on whether the speaker have high or low voices, speak fast or slowly, loudly or quietly, and energetically, emotionally, neutrally, or listlessly. And we know that men and women may have their own differences and preferences in intonation because we know that men typically have large vocal cords and lower pitch voices while women have smaller vocal cords and higher pitched voices. So this anatomical difference influences the natural range of intonation for each gender. That's why we can say they have their own differences when they pronounce some words. And when we speak, our voice rises and falls. It describes how our voice rises and falls when we speak. This is really a change in pitch. When we talk about this pitch, you know that it is a highness and lowness of our voice. And intonation is about how pitch changes in a language to express, and especially express to meaning and attitudes. So you can look at the following statement. This is a statement about you are going to the party. But we can use this statement in different ways, as a question, as excitement, and sarcasm tone in encouragement, so on. So that's why we can say intonation is about how pitch changes in a language to express. And also, even without facial expressions, we can understand what the people intend through this intonation. So let's move to the next slide and we'll see what are the intonation patterns in English. The most common types of intonation we have in English are falling intonation, rising intonation, falling rising intonation, and rising falling intonation. So we will see in detail what is this four intonation types. First one is falling intonation. Let's move to the next slide. Falling intonation is the most common intonation patterns in English. This is when the pitch of the voice falls at the end of a sentence. You can see with this example. It is commonly found in statements, commands, WH questions, and exclamation. In statement, these are you can see there are two sentences. Pleased to meet you. She doesn't live here anymore. In the first sentence, you can see the end of the sentence. When we pronounce this sentence, the end of sentences, our pitch of the voice falls like this. Pleased to meet you. She doesn't live here anymore. And when we command something, write your name here. Put your bag on the table. Write your name here. Put your bag on the table. And in the WH questions, where do you live? Whose bag is this? So normally we pronounce it. That's mean the pitch of the voice falls at the end of a sentence. So these are about the falling intonation. So let's see what is the rising intonation in the next slide. Yes, rising intonation. It happens, the pitch of the voice rises at the end of the sentence. In falling intonation, it's fall, and rising intonation, it rises. And commonly used in yes or no question and question tags. So in yes or no questions like this, do you like my new dress? Will she agree? So in the end of the sentence, we rise our voice in here. In question tags showing uncertainly, we say, the view is beautiful, isn't it? You are new here, aren't you? So the end of the like I said before, the end of the sentences, we rise our voice. Next slide. Malisha? Okay. Okay, next one is rising falling intonation. In here, we sometimes use a combination of rising and falling intonation in the same sentences. You can see it in here. The combination is called rising falling and falling rising intonation. This is the rising falling intonation. In here, the intonation rises and then again it falls. We generally use rising falling intonation for choices, giving out a list, and partial and conditional statements. In stating a list, you can see, for instance, there are two examples. She bought some bread, meat, pasta, and apples. I bought a t-shirt, a skirt, and a hat. In here, stating a list using rising intonation in the first series of items. That's mean for bread, meat, pasta, we rise our voice and use the falling intonation on the last item to indicate that the list has ended. With apples, the list has ended. That's why we lower our voice there. Falls our voice. She bought some bread, meat, pasta, and apples. I bought a t-shirt, a skirt, and a hat. So this is about rising falling intonation. Okay, next let's see what is the okay, there are two more examples. When used in choices, we can also use this rising and falling intonation. Would you prefer to have tea or coffee? Is your mother coming today or tomorrow? In here, there are two words, and the first word, in the first word, we rise our voice, and the second, the end of the sentence, we again falls our voice. In conditional statements, if you have any problems, just contact us. Unless she asks, I'll stay silent. So, this is about rising and falling intonation. Next, we'll see what is the falling and rising intonation in the next slide. Yeah. Falling rising intonation is the opposite side of rising falling intonation. The voice falls and rises usually within one word. This happens usually within one word. This is often used when the speaker is uncertain of an answer to a question or shows reluctance. reluctance. For instance, should we report this incident? Do you think it is valid? So in here, the report, we lower our voice, falls our voice, and again, port, we rise our voice. These are the example of falling, rising intonation. Now let's see what are the treaties of intonation in English. According to famous linguist Holiday, there are three distinct meaningful sets of choices which would be covered under the heading of intonation. They are tonality, tonicity, and tone. In this tonality, it refers to how speech is divided up into chunks. That's mean how it divided up into pieces. And for example, there is a sentence, she ordered a cake with cream on it. So in here, it's one sentences, but it has two tone units. There, she ordered a cake with cream on it. One is she ordered a cake, the other one is with cream on it. So you can see clearly this sentence has two tone units. Okay. Next, let's see what is this tonicity. This tonicity refers to the location of the most prominent syllables of the tone unit, also called the tonic syllable, and each tone unit has only one tonic syllable. In here, for example, our previous sentence again, she ordered a cake with cream on it. In here, you can see we already got two tone unit. She ordered a cake and with cream on it. In here, two syllables are stressed. O in ordered, and the other one is cake. She ordered a cake, and in the second tone unit, we can see there is only one stressed syllable. It is cream. So we can pronounce this as this. She ordered a cake with cream on it. And next one is tone, refers to the pitch movement within a tone unit. We could have fall. We already discussed about this tone, intonation, and we just call as this intonation as well. As we discussed before, we can get fall, rise, falling and rising, and rising and falling like this. A new pitch movement starts on the tonic syllable. For example, she ordered a cake with cream on it. In here, she ordered a cake. We rise our tone, and with cream on it, we fall our tone when we pronounce it. So these are the treaties of intonation in English. So let's see, next let's see what are the function of intonation. There are four main function of intonation. They are attitudinal function, accentual function, grammatical function, and finally discourse function. We see briefly what are they. First one is attitudinal function. Next slide. In attitudinal function, it can be expressed through prosodic elements like voice quality, loudness, and the speed of speech to express emotion and attitudes. Intonation, in here, intonation enables the speaker to express emotions and attitudes, which adds a special meaning to spoken language as a difference from its written counterpart. For example, to show shock or surprise, pleasure or anger, interest or boredom, seriousness or sarcasm, so on. And in accentual function, intonation helps to produce the effect of prominence on syllables that should be perceived as stressed, while tonic stress on a particular syllable marks the word as the most important in the tone unit. For example, in here, she is wearing red dress today. In here, actually, the writer or speaker wants to emphasize that she is not wearing a blue or green dress. She wearing a red dress. That's why we can say in accentual function, it produces effect of prominence on syllables. Okay, next let's see what is the grammatical function. In the next slide. Malisha, next slide. In grammatical function, in here, listener better recognize grammar and what is being said by using the information contained in intonation. Especially, we can recognize the syntax structure and grammar and syntax structure. Use intonation to mark the beginning and end of grammatical units such as clause and sentence. For example, placement of boundaries between phrases, differences between questions and statement, use of grammatical subordinated, and so on. And in the discourse function, intonation can signal to the listener what is to be taken as new information within the act of speaking when the speaker is indicating a contrast or link with the material from previous tone units. And also, it describe about listener feel what kind of response is expected, and also intonation can signal to the listener, and it can describe the relationship between linguistic elements and the context. These are the functions of intonation, the four main functions of intonation. So let's go to the next slide and conclude the presentation. The term intonation refers to linguistic uses of pitch to convey meaning at the sentence or discourse level. And it shapes the way we communicate, influencing how our messages are received and understood. And also, the correct use of intonation is necessary when we convey our message to others, because it is very important to understand the message. And we explored, through this presentation, we explored intonation patterns, main functions of intonation, and also the treaties of intonation in English. And as we continue to refine our understanding of intonation, we can better navigate social interaction, improve our public speaking, and even learn new languages more efficiently. And also, intonation is not just about how we say something, but also about how we connect with others through our voice. So intonation is a very important part in English. Now I hope you have a clear idea about the intonation in English. So this is the end of my presentation. Thank you very much for cooperating with me. Thank you.